Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my Monday Night Raw review. And this is the Christmas Eve edition of Monday Night Raw. And this show was taped last week after Raw went off the air last week, which they were in Sacramento. And Merry Christmas Eve to all of you out there. And by the time you guys are watching this, it'll, Merry Christmas. Because you all might see this on Christmas morning. So I thought this Christmas Eve edition of Raw, thought it was an okay show. Wasn't great by any means. It had a few good matches here and there. All in all, it was just an okay show. But let's get on with the review. So the show opened up with the TWAS the Raw Before Christmas promo, where it showed the matches that were going to take place tonight, like Elias versus Bobby Lashley in a Miracle on 34th Street fight, and Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, the Raw Women's Championship match with Ronda versus Natalya. So it was just that. And after we had that, we opened up with Elias in the ring, and he was saying that it's fitting that he's opening Monday Night Raw tonight. He goes out to say, it truly is better to give than receive, and he is going to give us him beating Bobby Lashley. And, he goes out to say that he has a song for us tonight. And so Elias then starts singing, saying children can be so annoying, especially this time of year. And he goes on to say nothing is more annoying than Lio Rush when he's pointing at Lashley's rear. And he sings his Christmas wish. He says his Christmas wish is for Lashley to go missing. And he also says that Bobby Lashley sucks. That Bobby Lashley sucks. Singing that. And then Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush ended up coming out. So, that was that. And then we had the match, which was Elias versus Bobby Lashley, Miracle on 34th Street fight. Which, to me, this match, was, okay. Was it a great match? No. But what was really funny was you had this match was sponsored by Lego, and I say that because instead of thumbtacks being used in this match, they used Legos. So Legos were bought out. Elias and Bobby Lashley were on the top. Lashley was trying to put Elias through the Legos, but Elias ended up putting Bobby Lashley through the Legos, which it's pretty painful. If you ever stepped on Legos before, it's the most painful thing to feel. Trust me, I had that. I stepped on Legos, a lot of times, when I was little, so I understand that feeling that you get when you step on one. But you saw Bobby Lashley had, a couple of Legos stuck to his back. You had Elias end up taking out a bowling ball, and he ended up, throwing it into, Lashley's balls. 7-10 split. And then Lio Rush ended up going through a table. And the match ended with Elias ended up hitting Lashley with looked like a guitar or a cello. And he ended up hitting it to Lashley's back. And so Elias ended up getting the win the Miracle on 34th Street fight. And then after the match, you saw Elias end up taking this bowl full of eggnog, and he threw it all over Lio Rush, which was funny though. But all in all, the match itself, it was okay, but wasn't a great match by any means. And yeah, I forgot to tell you all, my my throat's starting to get a little scratchy. It's this weather here. It's been cold. It was cold, and then the next it's very warm. So this is the type of weather that makes you get a cold, or makes you get sick. It's bipolar weather here in New York. And so throughout the night we had the B team, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. They were singing the other 12 Days of Christmas. At one point, they were showing their B team shirt to Apollo, and Apollo was like, "Oh yeah, I already finished my Christmas shopping." So it was just that with the B team tonight. Then we had Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team Championships. And this was a very good match. This was a enjoyable match between them. It was back and forth. And Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, they end up winning the match. They end up retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships because Chad Gable ended up pinning Scott Dawson. And Scott Dawson wasn't the legal man in the match. It was Wilder. So because of that, Gable ended up pinning Dawson, who wasn't the legal man, and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable win the match. They still retain the titles. So, but looks like the Revival might be getting another shot. So they're going to be getting another shot at the Raw Tag Team Championships. I could see it. Then we had Dolph Ziggler end up cutting a promo saying what he wants for Christmas is for Shane McMahon to hand him his Best in the World trophy. Also, he wants to get his stand-up show on Netflix. And he goes on to say when he beats Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, we will get proof that Dolph is just damn good. So that was the promo that Dolph Ziggler ended up cutting. It was a short promo from him. Then we had Charlie Caruso. She ended up interviewing Drew McIntyre, saying that if McIntyre is worried about Finn and Dolph taking him out in the match, because it's going to be Balor versus Dolph versus McIntyre, triple threat match. And so McIntyre says he is not worried. And he goes on to say that Dolph and Balor will gang up on him. And if they both get the upper hands on him, McIntyre will kick their heads off. He says McIntyre says once he disposes Dolph and Balor, he will go on to win the Rumble match, and he will fulfill his destiny when he goes to the main event of WrestleMania. So, I mean, Drew McIntyre is one of my picks to win the Royal Rumble, to win the Men's Royal Rumble this year. But who knows? But yeah, I would like to see McIntyre win the Rumble, win the Men's Royal Rumble. And then we had the match, Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, triple threat match. This was a decent match between them. It was back and forth. And, we've seen these guys go at it before. But Balor ended up winning the match. Ended up hitting a coup de grace on Dolph Ziggler to score the win. And then we got, after the match, McIntyre ended up saying, we end up hearing McIntyre say to Dolph, saying that, Dolph always screws up. And he said some other stuff to. He said some more stuff to him, but didn't get a chance to hear what he was really saying. And then we just saw Dolph Ziggler end up hitting a zigzag to McIntyre, and that's basically what happened after the match. But all in all, it was a decent triple threat match between Balor, McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. Then we saw Vince McMahon. He was Vince McMahon Claus. He was dressed as Santa. Vince was dressed as Santa, and he was saying that John Cena will be back on Raw and SmackDown next week. And he also goes on to say that next year, 2019, we are going to have new women's tag team championships. So that's basically confirmed now, because there was talks about how WWE is trying to introduce the women's tag team championships, and tonight it got confirmed. So we are getting the tag team championships for the women. My picks on who the first woman to hold the women's tag team championships, I have to say I have two picks. First pick, possibly Bayley and Sasha Banks, and the second might be Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Those are the only two women, Bayley, Sasha, and Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose. Those are the only two I can see who might be the first ever women's tag team champions. So who knows if WWE is going to do that? I personally think that WWE is possibly going to go with either one, but who knows? And then Vince announces that next week on the New Year's Eve edition of Raw, it's going to be McIntyre versus Dolph. Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see, even though we saw them go at it before. So, but that was that. Vince, dressed as Santa Claus. Then we had a 6-woman tag team match: Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Ember Moon versus Alicia Fox, Dana Brooke, and Mickie James. This match itself, it wasn't that good, in my opinion. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Ember Moon end up winning the match. Sasha ended up hitting a backstabber to Mickie James, and then Bayley ended up hitting the Bayley to belly on Mickie James. Scored the win for her, Sasha, and Ember. Then after the match, the Riot Squad end up coming out. They end up beating down on Sasha, Bayley, and Ember Moon. So let's see where this is going to be leading up to. But all in all, the match itself, it wasn't that good. Then we had Paul Heyman. He was in the ring. He was singing Silent Night. He was singing his own version of Silent Night, singing to Braun Strowman. And he was saying that, to Strowman, that Lesnar will not be getting these hands. And I gotta say, Paul Heyman actually sings pretty well, in my opinion. And then he goes on to say, ladies and gentlemen, his whole shit tick, my name is Paul Heyman. And he ends up saying Lesnar to Strowman is his Christmas gift. And Heyman goes on to say that the Royal Rumble, Lesnar will be challenged for the Universal Championship. against Braun Strowman. Heyman goes on to say that he had access to Strowman's personal file here in WWE. And he says to Strowman that there is no way Santa is going to deliver the Universal title. And all Strowman is going to get from Santa is a lump of coal. And so Braun Strowman's music hits. He ends up coming out. Heyman is shitting his pants once Strowman is in the ring. And so we see Strowman. He ends up putting on Heyman's nose. He ends up putting a red nose on Heyman and reindeer ears on top of his head, making Heyman look like Rudolph. And Strowman ends up telling Heyman that at the Royal Rumble he will be healed up because Strowman's arm was still in the sling. And he ends up saying to Heyman that Lesnar is going to get these hands. So Braun Strowman will be 100% cleared and better for his matchup against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. So, but yeah, that was the other segment with Paul Heyman. It was a decent promo. I mean, Paul Heyman sang, pretty well, like I said. Then we had Charlie Caruso. She ended up interviewing Natalya about her match with Ronda. And Natalya says she would expect nothing but the best from Ronda. And that she ended up helping train Ronda. And that she knows a lot about Ronda. She ends up going on to say that this year was one of the most challenging years in her life. And she goes on to say that she's ready. She's ready for, the challenge. So then we had the match, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. This match, it was, okay. It was slow in the beginning. The match was very slow pace, in my opinion. And Ronda was decent in the match. She moved really well. And you could tell Natalya knew Ronda's every move because, Natalya ended up training Ronda, and, she knows everything about Ronda. But Natalya had Ronda in the sharpshooter, and then Ronda ended up going to trying to get her hand on the rope, and Natalya ended up pulling her back. And we saw Ronda end up getting the armbar on Natalya. Natalya ended up tapping, and so Ronda ends up retaining the Raw Women's Championship. And so all in all, it was a okay match. Very slow match, in my opinion. But like I said, Ronda was decent in the match. Moved really well. Then we had Dean Ambrose end up cutting a promo, wishing Seth Rollins good luck in his match with Baron Corbin. And he ends up going on to say Seth is not getting what he asked for this year. And Ambrose says he got the Christmas wish he got, which is the Intercontinental title. And Ambrose ends up telling Seth to deck the halls, because that's what he deserves. So we had that promo from Dean Ambrose. Then we had Heath Slater versus Jinder Mahal. This was a whatever match. Nothing really great happened in this match, other than you had Santa Claus in the crowd. He was tossing out stuff stuff in the crowd. And Heath Slater went for the pin. The match ended in a disqualification because the Singh brothers ended up coming in and broke up the pin. And so Santa comes through the crowd. And he ends up taking down Jinder and the Singh brothers. And then hits a gore to Jinder. So we all know now who it is. It was the Santa, the guy who was in the Santa suit, who was dressed as Santa, is Rhino. Was Rhino. So just from that, the gore, you could tell that it was Rhino. So, well, yeah, all in all, it was a whatever match. Then we had Charlie Caruso. She interviewed Seth Rollins. Seth says, you know, he's got to focus. And tonight, he has got to focus on putting away Baron Corbin. And he goes on to say, Dean Ambrose cannot take his reputation or his heart. So it was a little interview with Seth Rollins. And then Seth went out, made his entrance. Then it was, of course, the main event. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, which was a decent main event. It was very entertaining with Seth Rollins. Right when the bell started already, Seth Rollins went to work on Baron Corbin. And the end of the match, Seth Rollins ended up hitting the stomp to Baron Corbin to score the win. So Seth Rollins ended up winning the match. But all in all, it was a decent main event. It was really enjoyable. Even though we saw these two go at it 2 weeks ago in a TLC match for the Intercontinental title on Raw. But still, this was entertaining. And it was entertaining because of Seth Rollins. So, yes, anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's Monday Night Raw, the Christmas Eve edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching. And Merry Christmas to all of you. And be on the lookout for my Christmas morning vlog tomorrow morning, where I will show you all the gifts that I received. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow morning. And right now, I am going to go watch A Christmas Story. 24 Hours of A Christmas Story, my favorite Christmas movie of all time. So I'm going to be watching that all tonight, all morning tomorrow. So yeah, so about to go watch that. I have it on right now. It's on mute because me doing this video. So yeah, so hope you all enjoyed this review, and thank you all for watching. Definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for my Christmas morning vlog tomorrow morning. So until that video, I will see you all in the morning.